Introvert versus extrovert. These are terms that many people use in order to define themselves, and they come with all sorts of predisposed ideas about behavior. Previous studies have shown that our personality traits become stable after we turn 30, even though some minor and insignificant changes can occur over time. So, for an introvert to become entirely extroverted is extremely unlikely. However, according to researchers, an introvert changing their behavior to be more like an extrovert is definitely possible. Introverts are not rigidly fixated in their introverted states and can adopt extroversion to get along and interact with others in public. They can learn to train themselves to show more extroverted traits and to manage their anxiety and their environmental stimulation. It will not feel comfortable to them, but it might start to feel familiar, especially if they practice extroversion regularly. However, natural introverts cannot maintain their extroverted tendencies forever. Eventually, faking extroversion can become draining, and an introvert will want to go home and take a moment alone to recharge and rest. Research shows introverts overestimate the unpleasant awkwardness of acting like an extrovert and underestimate its benefits. One study even suggested introverts feel more authentic when acting extroverted. In a recent study intended to examine whether being an extrovert can make you happier, a team of researchers asked a group of people to act like extroverts for a week. The participants were told to act spontaneously in their daily social interactions and to be talkative and assertive. The following week, the same participants were told to act like introverts. The participants claimed that when they acted extroverted, they experienced more positive emotions and satisfaction. But when they acted introverted, they experienced fewer positive emotions. Researchers believe that this occurs because humans are social creatures, and it's natural for us to crave the need to belong and connect with each other. On the other hand, we live in a society that rewards extroversion to the point where it has become a social necessity. Outward social interaction is so valued that it has become the norm. Because of this, introverts often find themselves under intense pressure and will start interacting in a more extroverted manner at work, in social situations, and in relationships in order to gain the approval and acceptance of those around them. Moreover, people tend to see leadership potential in extroverted individuals because they seem more confident, assertive, sociable, and energetic. But extroversion also has a genetic predisposition. Our genes can determine our personality, and extroversion can be hereditary. Extroverts have a more sensitive system in their brain and crave social interactions and attention as they activate their reward system in the brain. Introverts instead process information and engage with the world in a much more internal manner. But despite the negative stigma, this does not mean that introverts are anxious, friendless losers who lack social skills. They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. It takes a lot of energy for introverts to act like extroverts because in the end, it's not something that they're used to. And while pretending to be an extrovert can have its benefits, being an extrovert has its own downsides. For instance, during the COVID-19 lockdown, introverts and extroverts experienced life differently. According to one study, extroverted people suffered mood declines while introverted people actually saw mood improvements during the pandemic. As the researchers expressed in their study, personality traits are related to mental health and can play a role in a person's ability to cope with major stressful events. Different traits may also be more adaptive to different types of stressors. There are many misconceptions about introverts, but did you know that many of the most successful historical leaders and achievers were introverts themselves? What about you? Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Share your thoughts in the comment section.